All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Going through some charts, getting ready for the week, so I'm going to run through those now with you guys. And so I got a few that I like that could set up really well to start the week. So we will jump into those now, and then we'll see how they set up for tomorrow morning, how the markets are looking when the futures they'll open up in about 3 hours. So we'll see how they are behaving over the weekend coming into the new week. So SNDK I like a lot. We had a really nice push a couple weeks ago, and then like the last week or so we've kind of pulled in, and then Thursday and Friday, which is why I really like this chart, is we had two really tight back-to-back inside days. So we had this down candle here, inside day, and then an even tighter inside day. This sets up really nicely for a base to break out of. And the level I'm watching here is a 1620. If we zoom into the 30-minute, you can see here that it's been a big pivot on the name over the last couple of weeks. So if we can start to clear that 1620 on volume and can hold, I like this a lot for a trade. Momentum swing, and I'll trade around for some cash flow as well. So this is the name I'll be watching tomorrow morning. Another name I'll be watching tomorrow morning is Airbnb. This had a really good earnings beat and has not really pulled back much at all. Even the consolidation has been kind of edging higher here. So you can see we put in some higher lows, and we put in a higher low last week. And now we're sitting right around this area around 188. That's kind of acting as resistance right now. But if we start to clear Friday's highs, I think that's 188.60 here. I would look to buy some and see if we can get another leg out of this, maybe get a nice push into 200 over the next week or two. But just a really nice chart, really strong, no real selling. And then the only day that it did, it got bought right back up the next day. So this is definitely on my radar coming into tomorrow as well. That's Airbnb. MP, I don't know if you guys remember last year, this is the precious metals company. Last time, so Trump started pumping it again, basically saying to buy magnets, which this company does, it makes. And you can see the last time he pumped them, had a huge run, and now this thing's starting to kind of behave. We had some good volume coming in, and we're trending right on the 10-day. That's pointing straight up basically here. I had a nice day on Friday. If this wants to continue higher, the levels I'm watching, 60.59 and then 61.11 are these two pivots that's had over the last week or two. Starts to break through those, maybe we're starting some and seeing if it can go from there. Otherwise, maybe a couple inside days would set up really nice for a bigger push. Have a bit bigger of a base to break out of, because really this isn't that big of a base. Just a few days, had a pullback, got bought, had a nice wide range day on Friday. A couple tighter days would set up really nice. Let the 10-day catch up and then break out. That would be ideal. But if it does start to go, tomorrow or the next day through these levels, I'd be interested in starting some. Okay, so that's MP, definitely worth watching. Another one, so this is kind of a play I'm looking at with, if the markets are weaker this week, I think Microsoft sets up well for a short-sided play. We had this huge move from earnings with a lot of follow through. Just got really extended into this 500 area and has now pulled back. And now you'll notice we've had a really tight week last week, sitting, both days that pushed over the 10-day, it failed, and we're really tight. And now we got the 10-day kind of curled over here and pointing more towards the downside. So I do think we could see some more, further pull in here, because just given how big this move was, it's hard for big companies especially to hold this type of a move without a deeper pull in first. And so what I'd be looking for is this kind of breakdown out of this consolidation. Basically, if it started breaking through Friday's lows right around, call it 478.50s, we could see lower pretty quick and down into the gap. And then we have 470 and 468 would be the main levels I'd be looking at once we get into the gap here, which starts at like 475. So this will be, if the markets are weak this week, I'm going to be watching Microsoft for a short play, see if we can get a continue pullback move in this name. So I like this a lot. And then if we got through 468, it gets a little bit more open. I mean, there's some levels around 450. And so I don't know if we'll get all the way back into there. I guess it depends on how weak the market is. But the first levels I would be eyeing would be 470 and 468. All right, so Microsoft, definitely a name I'll be watching. Crypto, has been on fire this last week. I think we have, Trump was kind of pumping that again, and then we have I believe the Clarity Act coming up as well, which I believe is expected to pass. And look, this is a huge move. Bitcoin's been basically, it's been basically non-tradable since this big move lower here back in, what was that, June? Just tight range, chop back and forth. Now we finally got a huge move higher, and it's holding. We've had 3 days now sequence. Now the last 2 days have been holding up here high and tight. It's hard for me to want to chase it right now. If it were to start to break out again, ideally, what I'd like to see is a bit bigger of a base, maybe pull in a little bit, maybe look to buy into the 10-day and then see how it sets up from there. Tomorrow, if this started breaking out through the pivot highs here and into 80, I don't think I would chase it, but I do want to keep Bitcoin on my radar in case we do get a sharper pull back into some support, back into the 10 and 20 day to buy into, and then look to see if we can add into the breakout through this pivot high here, which is like 79,461. But I wouldn't be trading actual Bitcoin. I'd be trading IBIT. So this obviously doesn't have the overnight trading in it. So you see a lot of these gaps. But yeah, I'd like to see this pull in and look into to buy into the weakness, because usually when you get a move like this, a big breakout move with huge volume, buying into the first pullback is typically can be a really good way to get in at cheaper prices. So hopefully we'll get a pullback, and that'll be something I'll be looking for in IBIT over the coming week. All right, so it's definitely be on my radar as well. In fact, I'm going to throw out a couple alerts on this just to have out. And then lastly, PLTR. This had a really good earnings beat, really strong, and has just kind of kept going. It had like a good, really solid week, and now we've had about a week and a half of really tight consolidation. And we kind of started to poke up on Friday, wasn't able to close above the breakout area, but still closed really strong. I like this for tomorrow if this wants to break out and, basically above Friday's highs, 182.44. If it can start to push above that and hold, I like that for a buy to see if this can keep going and get another leg out of this consolidation, this nice base it's built. Basically, it's been bouncing around between 170 and 180. And yeah, on Friday, it basically closed at 180. So like this, I know you guys, a lot in the room, got a really good trade on this pullback here, had a great follow through move. So yeah, this will definitely be something else I'll be watching for tomorrow and throughout the week. So that's really what I have right now. Check the futures tonight, see how they're setting up in the news flow tomorrow morning, just to kind of get an idea. The only problem right now with like kind of buying these momentum breakout plays is the Qs are pretty lethargic right now. There's no real clear direction. So these breakouts can be a little bit tougher to get really strong follow through. Not like, back in April when you get these corrections and they bounce out of it, they can be really powerful. And we got a little one here that we bought into, but now it's just the seasonality right now. I think the market needs a little bit more time before we start making new highs. So that could put a damper on some of these names. So maybe good idea to kind of have a little bit of limited expectations, but you still want to be involved in the setups, right? You trade your setups and then you go from there, maybe risk down a little bit and see how they trade. And you can always add into it depending on how things are going, how the overall market's doing, how the stock's trading and stuff. So that's what I'm going to be watching this week. SNDK, SpaceX, Airbnb looks really good. MP looks really good. Microsoft, that's going to be my top watch if markets are weak. Especially with the Qs below the 10-day, you got the 10-day curled over as well. We could see a pullback into 700. That will definitely help Microsoft's short thesis. So definitely we'll be watching that. And then Bitcoin and PLTR. All right. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I will see you all in the room tomorrow morning. Take care.